Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Coming up, a hodgepodge of delights.
I like the gesture for hodgepodge. Plus, HBO GO's iPad, TripIt for the Wanderlusters, and you don't know Jack.
All that plus tunes in space.
Yay!
On iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by GoToMyPC. Attention iPad owners, access your applications and files on your home or office computer from your iPad with GoToMyPC by Citrix. For your free 30-day trial, visit GoToMyPC.com and use the offer code iPad Today. And by Slingbox, which can turn your iPad into a television. With the new iPad app from Slingbox, you can watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you go. Check it out at slingbox.com. And by Gazelle, the easy way to sell or recycle the used gadgets lying around your home or office. Don't just sell it, Gazelle it. For a 5% bonus payment for your used gadgets, go to gazelle.com and use the offer code TWIT. Hello, Wanderlusters. It's time once again for iPad Today. Leo Laporte with, wow, Sarah Lane.
Hey, Leo.
You're pink today.
I am. Yeah, you know, I was telling the folks in the chat room before the show started, usually I just waltz into the cottage in my pajamas because nobody knows the difference.
Right.
We're a very casual place.
Right.
So I put something in my hair today, and all of a sudden...
Isn't that funny?
Eileen goes, you look very Hawaiian.
You're coordinated.
Very islandy.
Yeah.
So tan.
But pink and gray is also a good combination. She's
I
got
agree.
A gray pullover with the, but it's hot outside. That's why.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is a tank top, but it's like, I don't know. I'm a modest gal. I don't want to show any shoulder.
No.
You know, in some countries, that's going to get you beaten.
It's an invitation.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that.
No, but
But,
you know
I
what a
will-
flower in your hair means? Especially if it's on the left side.
That I'm going to San Francisco?
Yes. Today you said we are hodgepodging.
Yeah, so we always do a theme at the top of the show, meaning that we get, 3 to 5 apps that are similar that we can compare and contrast and talk about what's good about them. And this week we thought, well, there are just a lot of really cool new apps out there, but they don't necessarily really have anything to do with each other. So why not just put them all in a pot and make some soup?
We felt, I have to admit, constrained by our own
We did.
limits.
Yes,
We decided to do a show without limits.
that's right.
A show that celebrates diversity.
Right.
A show... I've run out of
A show,
metaphors.
for example,
Yes.
with an app that is actually a service that a lot of people like. Do you use Feedly?
I've used it for a long time. It's a browser plugin.
It is.
So I think it was first for Firefox.
Oh, was it? Because I used
yeah.
the Chrome extension.
Yeah, now it's Chrome. Do you still use it?
Okay, so RSS readers, I love them in theory. I don't use them daily in practice.
Right.
I just don't.
That's why people have been saying for a while RSS is dead because, but you know, RSS is far from dead. We wouldn't have podcasts without RSS. That's how
So
you
true.
subscribe.
Yeah, I don't think it's dead. I just think the way that I do things, it just changes. So I don't always go and read up on everything that I subscribe to. But Feedly now has an iPad app, which is getting rave reviews from everybody.
It was
east and west of the Mississippi.
It was in some ways more than a RSS reader. It was kind of a social RSS reader. You know?
Social RSS reader and the iPad app is
Sideways.
It only works
I
in
hate it.
portrait mode.
Why do you do that, people?
I don't
Stop
know.
It.
I wish they
It
would.
ruins our shot.
It does. I know. Good stuff, huh? But this is my, and by the way, this is Google Reader. So Feedly is connecting to Google Reader. That is the RSS reader of choice. So
That's
if you're a
kind of
Google Reader
required
person,
these days because if you don't do that, then people have to put their own feeds in.
right? And it's what's nice about it is that you think Feed Reader will very helpful and not very visual.
Right.
In fact, feed readers can be kind of blah because they strip out everything that's cool and unique about the originating website.
Well, and that's why we like Flipboard, because it's essentially a kind of a feed reader, but it's a feed reader with pictures.
Yeah.
And it says pictures.
Right, and Flipboard, even though it does connect to Google Reader, that's certainly not what a lot of people use Flipboard for. In fact, I know you have kind of said, that's not really about that. I just subscribe to the Twitter feeds.
Right, and then in a way, that's kind of where RSS has gone, is that it turns out that following a kind of a curated Twitter feed is just as good, if not better, than having RSS feeds. Because the way an RSS, so people understand an RSS feed, the idea is you subscribe to a blog or a website, and then you get every post from that blog or website in a form that you can aggregate like this into a magazine or a page. And so there's a feed right there that you're.
This is a story from Mashable. So I subscribe to just the main Mashable feed. This is one of how to. It's like how to get a bunch of people's addresses before you launch your startup, so that you have a fan base. And you're scrolling down, and I mean, besides the fact that there's some Mashable branding that gets stripped out, it's very much like it would look on the website, and actually kind of better because you don't get the ads.
Well, that's what's kind of interesting, because that's why Zeit is getting sued. Tap2, some of the programs we've talked about, is because they do strip out the ads. They do strip out the content. See, here's a great story about the new Intel 3D transistor. You were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah,
on
we
TNT.
were. Very waffle-like.
Yeah.
More surface area. So
and that's how I like to read it. It's almost like Instapaper or Read It Later. It's very clean.
Very much so. And GigaOM, they've got a great site. It's really clean and everything. But this is, it's just the facts. And of course, there is a way to, if you thumbs up, then people know what you're into, and you can connect with other folks.
That's
you can
through
email.
Google Reader, yeah.
You can tweet.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. You can. You can set it up to read later or use with Instapaper, or open it in, if you, for whatever reason, wanted to see the original GigaOM article, you can bounce over to Safari and open it there. But I have to say that Feedly, and by the way, it's free, so then as you can see, I mean, this is the same article, but there's a lot more going on this page.
Right.
I prefer the former, not going to lie. Feedly it's free. And for anybody who's kind of like, I don't know, the RSS reader thing, there are so many apps that take me out of that experience, or do we really need that stuff anymore? This is a really good example of a way that Google Reader can be engaging. It can be designed well. I mean, it looks nice. I'm a fan. And I really have neglected RSS. And this is not even just news sources. I mean, friends' blogs. I mean, I can subscribe to you at Leoville. And you to me. I mean, I don't update that often, but it's just a good way not to miss anything.
Exactly. That's the advantage of this. You don't have to visit the page every week to see. If there's something new, it'll show up.
Exactly.
I like, you probably remember we've had 44 episodes. I probably recommended a dozen RSS readers because that's one thing I really find useful on the iPad, because the one kind of job I have all week long is looking for stories for our various shows. And so I'm always kind of doing that. And the iPad's great. I'll have it at the breakfast table. I'll prop it up in front of me in my bowl of Captain Crunch, and I can browse feeds. And
my favorite Google Reader, or RSS reader that works for Google Reader before this was Reader.
I love Reader.
R-E-E-D-E-R.
Yeah.
I do too. It's simple. It works well. It's designed, very clean design, but not visual on purpose.
And the other thing I don't like about it is it's kind of an obscure UI. I don't really quite understand Reader's UI. I mean, there's the folders and everything. And we recommended this before. I've used for some time now a thing called River of News, which is really clean and simple and totally designed to just read a lot of stuff and bookmark it. So, it's designed for the task that I have, which is to go through a river of news and decide what we're going to cover. And so it's really good for that. But if you're looking,
even either of these, you look at them and
ugly.
it's like there's
ugly.
just nothing to it. There's no color. There's no
Whereas
photo.
Feedly's like a magazine, or Flipboard, or the others. And I even talked about the fact that bookmarking in a lot of these apps isn't very easy because they don't naturally necessarily support Delicious or what we use, Pinboard. But that's why I created that links_for_twit Twitter feed. If I retweet it, Pinboard picks it up. And so now I have a way in all of these, every one of these apps, the one thing they always have is a way to tweet a story.
Yes.
So every one of these apps I can now bookmark it very easily. And this is true of Feedly too.
It's nice. I'm a big fan.
I like it.
I'm going to
Good
give
job.
RSS another try. You know what I have to do? It's like every once in a while you just have to go through and just raise the darn thing and build up
just to
your
see.
little city again.
Yeah.
from scratch.
You know
I'm
what Chris
following
Pirillo
some
says,
folks.
though?
What?
He says RSS is dead. It's all about Empire Avenue now.
Oh, is he behind Empire Avenue?
No, but he really is a supporter.
Well, because he tweeted something that made it sort of seem like it was his project.
Oh, maybe it is.
I
didn't think of that.
I'm trying to get into Empire Avenue. I bought stock in you.
I bought stock in you.
I bought stock in MG.
I did
bet
also.
I bet the farm on the two of you. So I
Yep.
hope you guys both do
We're
very
all
well.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. So and now I don't
know
feel
what
like-
to do.
Yeah.
It's not a game exactly. It's a stock market simulation, but with social media types.
Sure. Well, Hollywood Stock Exchange would be a similar
Yeah,
thing, I
yeah,
guess.
that's been
Same
around for a
idea. But the problem is that my stock went down slightly yesterday, and I felt bad about myself. And it's like I
Well, you
can't.
should.
I don't want to.
Mine's done nothing but go through the roof.
Well, that's because
Why would your stock
you're
go
better
down?
than
How
me.
does your stock go down?
Well, I think
Somebody sells you?
I think so.
Don't
Yeah.
sell Sarah Lane.
I'm not for sale.
You could short her, though.
But that's the thing. It's like I don't know. I know it's just a fun game, but it's like I don't want my stock to tank.
I'm looking for a replacement. I finally gave up those stupid farming games. You know, I deleted We Rule.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
And so I'm
Wait a
looking
second.
for something obsessive.
You're
I could
saying
do
this in
instead.
kind of like a throwaway. Oh yeah, I'm not playing We Rule anymore. What happened?
It's too-
You played We Rule religiously for a year,
I know.
and you realized you had a problem, didn't you? Yeah.
And I couldn't face myself in the morning.
Yeah. Well, and you were spending real money. That's the problem.
Somebody's still spending real money, by the way. I still get bills for Mojo. Whoever's got my account is buying Mojo every morning. I think it's my mom.
Really?
Yeah. Mom, no more Mojo for you. Because, see, for me, for a while, I thought, oh, it must have been me. But now I know somebody's been buying Mojo. Somebody in my
Leo's
family is
mom-
buying Mojo. Don't buy no more Mojo.
So you're not playing We Rule.
This is the worst of all possible worlds. I don't get to play Rerule, and I still am giving them cash, like hundreds of dollars in cash.
I think a lot of people are. It's like the gym membership that you just keep
keeps
saying,
going.
"I'll cancel it next month," but you're not going, and you haven't gone for months and months.
Yeah, I gave up trade.
That's
Trade
how they
Nations.
get you.
I gave up all of that. I'm going to read RSS readers instead.
Well, now you've got Feedly.
Actually, I got
Just one
something
more
even
way.
better. You want to see my
Yes.
my app in our
Yes.
hodgepodge? We have never done wine apps,
Why?
which is odd
That's
because
all
we
I do
we
is
love
drink wine.
Yeah. Every night I see MG takes a picture of a glass of beer, and you take a picture of a glass of wine. You're the biggest lushes I know.
Well, I don't drink a lot of wine. I drink wine regularly.
that's
It's
so
good
mean.
for my heart.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So this is something you should know about. It's the database Cor.kz is online, and you can be a member of Quarks. And this is their application for the iPad, and I really like it. This is the homepage. So there's content in here. You can read articles about different kinds of wine. It'll take you out to wine sites and so forth.
Are you Franc or Blanc?
I'm a kind of a cab franc kind of guy.
I'm a
You can-
whatever.
They've got 935,000 wines
What?
in their database.
Holy crap! Is it some database that other site or
Yes.
other services pull
Yes,
from?
it is
Okay.
actually, and that's what it allows you to do. It's the Cellar Tracker website. What it allows you to do is enter in your wine cellar. So these are wines I just did this morning. I put in a few wines. Wait a minute, is that right? No. These are. I was going to say my cellar grew. These are wines in my cellar that I actually have, and so it's very easy to add a wine. You just search for the wine. We should have gotten a. Hey, bring me a bottle of wine, somebody.
Somebody bring Leo the vino.
Bring me some wine, because
Put some tequila in it. It's Cinco de Thursday.
I could show you just how easy it is. Once you've got your cellar in there, there's all sorts of information. So I have this wonderful bottle of Léoville. You know, Léoville, believe it or not, is one of the great French Bordeaux's. So I've started to collect
Wait a
Léoville.
second. Is that where Leoville comes from?
No, I didn't know
That's
about
just
it.
it's just a happy
There's
accident.
two of them. There's Chateau Léoville Las Casses, and there's another Breton or something. I can't remember. But this is considered the better one, Dvorak tells me.
Holy
So
moly.
here's a bottle of it that I have, 92.9 on the Cellar Tracker community. So there's a community. I can't remember who J.K. is, well-known wine writer. Average prices.
Harry Potter lady.
Yeah, it's really cool. So this allows you to have your complete cellar at your fingertips. Notice, by the way, it includes a picture of the label.
Nice.
Which I didn't put that in there. It does it. I can drink it or add it, but also the community tells me, for instance, that I should drink this. I should have drank this a year ago. The community said the drinking window for this. Whereas if I go back to, say, one of my Bordeaux's, not till 2012 or 2019.
So you just want to sit on it. Well, wait a
I
second.
wouldn't sit on it. You might want to put it in a cellar.
Right.
You can do also. You can compare wines. This is I have to say, this has been really fun for me. I'm excited about this. There's a complete wine encyclopedia in here, so you can learn about wines. So it is technically a cellar database program, but if you love wines, you can browse through the database. You can learn about wines. You can read articles. You can browse by region. And, of course, keep track of the wines you own or
a couple folks in the chat room have said, but it's not that pretty of an app.
It isn't. It's very functional.
It's giving you a lot of information.
Can I tell you there are, at last count, well over 250 wine apps on the iPad.
And some of them are awful.
Many of them are awful.
Just horrible.
And I searched through a bunch just to see which one had the function. You're right, I wasn't looking at beauty.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because beauty is great. But when it comes to something like wine,
I was looking for functionality.
I mean, imagine a wine shop that's really beautiful and the walls are painted nice, and they have a bunch of $2 chuck. I mean, that's not helpful either.
So I put in the best wines I have in my cellar just to see, and every one of them it knew about.
Holy crap!
By year.
So you actually have a wine cellar at home. This is something that you take somewhat seriously.
It's a closet.
A wine closet.
Yeah, but so Silver Oak. Kevin just sent me a bottle of Silver Oaks, one of my favorite wines.
Silver Oaks is really good.
Yeah. So you can look by year to see which one you have and enter that in. I actually just searched the cellar, but if you search, it will show you all the Silver Oaks.
I like this drinking window. You got 11 years.
Thank you, Kevin.
Drink it slowly.
I could drink it now, but the community, and then there's reviews, by the way, by people who've tried it.
And Porcine says just not great, but you'll never get 100 people to agree on a wine.
Well, also, it's just too new. I think if you drank it now, you drank it too soon. Look at this. Here's in my cellar. What wines should I drink sooner than later? What are my best wines? What is my wish list? Wines by varietal. So if you had a big cellar, I agree. Ugly as sin.
I don't think it's ugly as sin. I think it's maybe not the snappiest looking app, but not ugly. Super
functional. I'm really thrilled. You want to search for Opus One? I do have an Opus One. Somebody brought me an Opus One. In fact, let me add this to my I should add this to my database. I forgot to add this. Somebody brought me a 1988 Opus One, which I was really pleased about. One of our listeners.
Doesn't that seem?
So see, I searched for Opus One, and I can go way back to 1988. It has it. I just entered 88.9. Red Bordeaux blend. I should have had it years ago. Years ago.
You should have had it 6 years
It's 5
ago.
years. It's probably vinegar, you know. But
you can cook with it. Put it in your next risotto.
I'm going to add this to my cellar. And by the way, when you add it, it's a real database program. You can say where you bought it, how much you paid for it, when you purchased it.
Camera's a little blown out, but I think people get the idea.
You can't see. Is it too bright? Yeah.
Well, it's the whites are a little sunny. All right, fix it. He's fixing it, people.
We'll have an edit here.
We'll, it'll teach me to say anything.
We usually try to set that before we start.
Dr. Mom is telling us if you can't drink it, you can't cook with it. Really? I thought if you cooked with it, you were burning out all the alcohol. Well, I guess that if it was vinegar, then...
I only cook with good wines. I do not cook with bad wines. That's a common misconception.
Maybe that's why I'm such a terrible cook.
Now, or it's a bad... you're going to cook with it, you can use a cooking sherry. No. Cook with good wines. If you would drink it, then you could cook with it. If you wouldn't drink it, why put it in your food?
But I can't pour wine that I'm about to...
Throw it out. No, drink it. Just know that it's not going to be as good as it could be. It might be a little, vinegary.
All right. So that's Cor.kz.
Yeah.
Cor.kz.
If you are familiar with wine websites, you'll know the site because it's a pretty popular site. But this is a nice app, I think.
$4 app, so it's good
$4 chuck
for people who want to be serious about their wine collection or their future collection, or just a bottle that was given to you.
Yeah,
then it's your ticket to ride. Now, there is our next app in our hodgepodge of delights today. Leo, you actually turned me on to this because I didn't realize that You Don't Know Jack HD was an iPad app at all.
Have you ever played You Don't Know Jack? Remember years ago?
Oh, yeah. It's so fun.
It's a great trivia game. And the guy in it says, it's funny.
He's heckling you.
Yeah. It's back, baby. And you don't have to know Jack to play You Don't Know Jack. Let's just play right now. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Hey, this is Cookie, and after this, I'll be hosting a trivia game on a graphing calculator. And right this way.
Who is the guy? Because he sounds so familiar.
I don't know. I don't recognize the name. I think you might just know him from You Don't Know Jack.
Maybe he's famous from that. So you see lots of great graphics, fun audio. Half the man he used to be.
Stone Temple Pilots.
How many bones would 2.5 men actually have?
Oh, man.
Shh. Shh.
It's widely accepted that adult humans have 206 bones.
Oh, it's 7:14.
That by 2.5.
Oh, I got it right.
Yay!
I win.
You win to that
Do
check.
you ever, if you play, remember trivia was big in the 70s. We had Trivial Pursuit.
Still
and then
big.
And in the 80s it came out. And I love it.
Still
Now see,
big.
look at the animation we get. This
is
is
fun.
this is exactly like the PC game with the same sense of humor. Which product would be most helpful to Lady Macbeth?
Brita, Metamucil, or Febreze.
What?
Purell, she's getting the blood out.
You're crazy, and you think your hands are covered in blood. That's why I use Purell.
I'm good at this.
You are. I actually did not
Remember
understand that
out
trivia
Dan's
question.
spot? She had blood on her hands.
But Purell. I guess I don't know enough about Purell.
Purell's really more of a disinfectant than it is a blood remover.
Let's
but-
disinfect the blood on my hands.
Well, you know,
This one's called
you can't hear the audio very well because I didn't plug in the audio. Why don't we
Okay,
get
it says
drunk and
drunk.
read a
I'll be
novel
good at
together?
this.
Okay. Isn't it great, the production value?
So good.
I'm going to read off 7 titles. For each one, tell me if it's one of the 100 greatest novels of all time, according to the Modern Library, or
You should know this. Is it a song by Jimmy Buffett or one of the greatest novels of all time?
This is so fun.
here, if it's Jimmy Buffett.
That's so great. Okay.
Okay, so we got buttons now.
Buffett or
Okay.
novel?
Okay.
Cost you $300.
Oh, man, you got to get this right.
Eye on the clock, Captain.
Okay. It is.
That's so much fun. We're playing it instead of doing a show. It's a classic novel. Classic novel.
Particular harbor.
Jimmy Buffett.
Lighthouse.
Classic novel. I'm reading it right now, actually. Fins.
Captain and the Kid.
Did you want to answer any of these?
No, I don't know any of these. My gosh, you're a wild man.
Never play Trivial Pursuit with me, Sarah
I
Lane.
won't. Now I know. So
It doesn't have an unlimited number of questions, and so once you play it, you're done with it. But you know what is it? $5?
It's $5.
It's worth it, I think. And boy, family fun.
Totally.
Unless you're playing with Sarah.
I felt like I was just like in some sort of a fun house.
I can't. The answer.
No, see, I'm not good under pressure like that.
Right.
You're very good.
I like to be.
I was like, I've never heard of any of those titles, so I would have. Well, that's not true. Some of the books I knew.
You
but,
knew. You would have done fine.
Well,
And you can guess.
I
mean,
also don't know that much about Jimmy Buffett.
I didn't know about Fins, whether that was a Jimmy Buffett song or a novel, but I figured there's not a novel named Fins, but I bet you anything there's a Jimmy Buffett song named Fins.
Yeah. The Parrot.
Perfect. It was perfect for Cinco de Mayo.
It was.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's You Don't Know Jack. It's $5. Jellyvisiongames.com is the website. And of course, it's in the App Store. And that's a good time. It was a little stressful, but it was a good time.
A Tort, who is a great photographer in our chat room, says he just spent $10.
Nice.
Bought 2 of the 3. That's awesome.
We're happy to help you spend your money. If you want the links to the apps that we mentioned and you didn't write them down just now, don't worry about it. Visit iPad today at twit.tv/IPT. That's our address. You can click on the link for show notes, and that's where we put all our show notes in. And by the way, a few of you have emailed us that sometimes the show notes don't go up right away. That's very true. We try to get them up within the weekend after we record a show. So don't kill us if they're a couple of days late. Sometimes we do them right away, but it just kind of depends on the workflow. But they will end up there eventually. That's where you get the links to everything that we talk about. And, of course, twit.tv/IPT is where you can watch all of our show archives or subscribe to the show if you want future shows, don't want to worry about it. And a quick reminder that if you're not watching live and you would like to, because it's kind of fun, we mess up a lot, stuff that doesn't get into the final cut.
Is that true? Do you edit this stuff out?
No, I actually, unless, I mean, sometimes.
I probably shouldn't say we'll cut this out, because every time I say we'll cut this out, it stays in.
Well, Jeff is actually pretty good about
Is he?
that. I tell him when we say things like that to take it out so that we
don't look like we're
we
stupid.
seem like we've been doing this for a while. But anyway, if you want to watch a show when it's live, we record iPad Today on Thursdays around 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, give or take a half hour, because that's just we're on parrot time. It's Jimmy Buffett, and I'm sure he's not ever prompt either.
Yeah,
So
I busted my flip-flop. stepped on a pop top, lost my heel, and then I had to go home.
And you were wasted away again in Margaritaville.
I was. Very good. Ding,
Thank
ding,
you.
ding. You got it.
See? I know
iPad.
one Jimmy Buffett song.
I knew you'd know that one. You're not exactly a parrot head. That's very good.
Thank you. Well, I used to have a bird growing up.
That's a very, that's a good, parrot probably imitated you, and then.
It's one of my things. I can do a parrot squawk.
I thought I knew everything about you, Sally.
Well, one more.
One more thing.
One more talent.
One more magical,
that I've got.
revolutionary talent for Sarah Lane. iPad Today brought to you by GoToMyPC. What a great way to get out of town, man.
Yeah.
Be able, sometimes when you leave, especially I have to say as a small business owner, when you leave, you're leaving a lot behind. That email from the new client that could make a big difference, and you want to be able to check those things. You want to be able to clear out the inbox. You want to be able to perhaps check how the numbers are running and so forth. So the ability to log into your Office PC anywhere you go is absolutely critical. I've been using GoToMyPC for years as a result. But here's the beauty of it. I don't even have to bring a laptop with me anymore. GoToMyPC on the iPad.
Yeah.
This lightweight little doohickey can actually log in securely from anywhere, even an open Wi-Fi access spot. You're totally secure to your GoToMyPC account. And then Windows or Mac, you're running it on the iPad. They pop up a keyboard when you need to type. You move your finger, the mouse moves. I mean, it's remarkable. And you can run any program, access any network resource. You could send and receive email. You could even drag and drop files from one computer to the other. If it feels revolutionary, and yet it's it's something we've known about for some time. Now on the iPad, I love it. GoToMyPC.com. You could try GoToMyPC free for the next 30 days if you just visit GoToMyPC.com. Click the Try It Free button. The offer code for this, and please use this one. Don't use, some other shows, is iPad Today. Don't, sometimes people watch this show and then they use like Callie Lewis's code. That just chafes my
it
butt.
helps GoToMyPC know that you came from us.
We want to get credit for it. So
yeah.
Say iPad Today when they ask you, where'd you hear this?
iPad Today.
iPad Today.
Where else?
Go to my PC. Not that I don't love Callie, but,
That's a different show.
It's a different show. That's not where you saw it.
No.
Go to mypc.com, offer code iPad Today. And by the way, the iPad app, free.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Money for nothing and your iPad apps for free.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Got to move this refrigerator. No, that was more of a vulture.
Yeah, well,
and less
I didn't
of a
say
parrot.
it was a parrot.
That was like someone's dead in the desert and we're
Let's go
going
get
down.
him, boys. Food. It's lunchtime.
So there's a couple things that are new in the App Store.
I'm excited about this first one.
A few actually, yeah. The first one, HBO GO. So this was came out a few days early. They had said May 2nd. It actually came out last week. So I don't know, it was 3 days earlier or so. And I don't actually pay for HBO.
Oh, I do.
GO.
I do.
So I don't.
So you can't use it.
Well, it's only available to existing subscribers,
Right.
and they're smart about it. So if you try to get around, to sign in, and they'll say, "Okay, well, who's your cable provider?"
Right.
So I have Xfinity. That's actually something that I do have. By the way,
Why don't you have HBO? Don't you like all those great movies and shows?
I canceled it after The Sopranos ended,
Right.
and then I just started buying season passes
Right.
through iTunes.
But the thing about HBO, and I always made me mad, is that they didn't put everything on iTunes. So
Right.
there was so much that you missed. This has not only every show, every movie, but it goes all the way back. So if you missed an episode of Entourage 4 seasons ago, it's all there.
Or if there was just a series that you never got into. I mean, Big Love ended or is ending. I've never watched it.
Well, as a polygamist myself, I live the dream.
So you don't need to see it.
I don't.
You're like, I know how this all works. See, I'm like,
wife number 3.
Utah?
Yeah.
What?
No, I like Big Love.
I'd like to watch it from
Yeah,
the
I
beginning.
think it's good. I missed a Deadwood, which everybody loves.
Oh, yeah.
But see, in a way, I kind of like missing a show because now I have it.
You've got it in bulk.
And this streams. Now, the only negative on this, and I'll show you because I should put it on here, because the only negative on it is it isn't super high quality. And maybe that's just depends on your bandwidth. But I wouldn't say it's HD
Now, when you
quality.
say it's not super high quality,
Well, it's a little, you could kind of see the artifacting. It's squeezed down.
okay. Because sometimes when I stream a Netflix movie or something,
Same thing.
you can see a little
Same
something.
thing.
But I mean, I rarely am distracted by it.
Well, and I think there's a couple of things HBO has to be careful about here. They don't want to get you to the point where you don't pay for it on the cable. because
Right.
the cable companies will be very upset. So that's why you still have to log in through your cable account, not just to verify it, but just to make sure that you continue to buy HBO on the cable account. But they also probably don't want it to look so good that you stop watching your TV. They're not interested, or at least the cable company's not interested in conditioning you to getting all your TV on the
Well,
iPad.
I think that's kind of silly. I think they should make it look as good as possible everywhere so that you pay for it, because I'm still on the fence.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you
Well,
are
you're
an
probably right.
HBO,
You're probably right.
if you are an HBO subscriber, this is a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I love it.
It's free, and
It's
I
on,
mean,
and I put it on everything. It's on Android. It's on iPhone. It's on my iPad. I put it everywhere. You can even watch it on the desktop.
it's great, and it's on demand. So it's,
yeah.
I mean, you know, in the way that Slingbox, you can take everything with you,
Right.
just as if it was your cable box and your TV in your
Right.
living room. It's like this is more.
Well,
of,
Slingbox is this plus because it's not just HBO. It's everything.
it's everything.
But this has some advantages because even at home, if you do video on demand, at least on Xfinity, which is what I have, you can't go too far back on any show. You can only go back maybe 5 or 6 episodes.
Right.
So this, you can go all the way back on every HBO show. You can watch.
I don't know
everything.
what's Comcast. Their on-demand stuff is really weird. Certain shows they're really up to date with. Other shows it's like last season catch-up type thing, and they'll just it's.
By the way, does
Yes.
work with AirPlay.
Oh, great.
Not sure why you'd want to do that if you've already, but I guess if you have a TV that's not cabled, but has an
You're at a
Apple
friend's
TV
house.
on it, or you're at a friend's house.
grandma's, and you want to
Yeah.
watch.
You know, Grandma
Treme.
loves the Sopranos.
Who doesn't?
Sure. So my grandma loves Tony. You know.
I do too. I mean,
doesn't?
I'm glad I'm not married to him, but I'd love to watch his life.
Oh, come on. You wish you were married to Tony Soprano. Admit it.
No way, man.
No?
Going to jail and all those other chicks and the
He didn't go to jail.
well, but the FBI is always in their house.
He might have gotten, we don't know. He might have gotten offed in the
We
last
don't know.
episode. But we don't know.
We don't know. But
They stopped right before that. You think they'll come back and have, explain what happened?
No.
Never?
I'm positive that David Chase is done.
He's done.
with The Sopranos.
Ain't gonna watch that no more.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna study war no more.
That's right. Some interesting news in the magazine subscription world of iPads.
Mm-hmm.
The newest news actually is that Hearst Magazine and Apple have Hearst magazines, which include which is the Oprah magazine, and Esquire, very popular with the fellas. Popular Mechanics, popular with the
Esquire's
cheerleaders.
not like a sexy magazine, though, is it really? I mean, come
My
on.
dad used
Come
to
on.
subscribe to Esquire, and I used to always think it was really, there's good articles, clever. Sometimes they feature a woman or whatever, but it's not like not GQ. It's not like Maxim
Right.
type of a thing. It's a little bit more, I don't know, style and substance. But so the interesting thing about this is that the magazines and Apple, we've talked about a lot in the past, they're coming out with monthly episodes. Oprah's magazine, for example, you had to buy one at a time. The pricing has gotten a lot more affordable if you want to subscribe. For example, for Hearst magazines, like the ones I mentioned, $1.99 monthly. That makes a lot more sense than the $4.99
That's
per
big
episode.
improvement, because Time used to be a PDF. It would be $5. You download a PDF. There wasn't even really. It was just stupid. So this is better.
Yeah, and Time has also joined the subscription model, which is, it's kind of weird because right now Time has, you can subscribe to Time, and if you're a print subscriber, you get the iPad app for free.
That's how it should be. Now, the reason this didn't happen before is because Apple didn't offer in-app subscriptions.
That's right.
So they couldn't do it before.
Well, now all of these folks only have until June 30th to add them. And then they have to add in-app subscriptions because Apple wants to take their 30% cut. So my guess, and I don't really know, but my guess is that Time is like, let's just sign up as many people to this print subscription in this window before we have to start giving a lot more money back to Apple.
You're not watching Game of Thrones?
I'm not. No,
so
I'm not
good.
watching it. I know. I will eventually. I'll probably just buy a season.
So
after
now
a
maybe
while.
it's because our internet. Yeah. See. So now
Why
I'm
would
getting
you watch
audio
Game of
'cause
Thrones audio only?
Well, because it says our signal isn't fast enough. So
Oh, that's silly.
So maybe
It's
if I would
because
get
our
a bit
connection.
Yeah,
here
maybe
is-
I would get a better picture if. But look, anyway, I'm sorry, I was distracted, but I was finally
by
got-
Game of
Yeah, it
Thrones. No,
started.
you wouldn't be the first one.
So good.
But anyway, so
Time Magazine.
yeah. Well, Time Magazine is
Popular
is-
Mechanics.
The problem that I have with
Oh,
it though
yeah.
is that if you are a Print subscriber, you get the iPad app for free. Awesome. So what if you just want the iPad app and you want to pay? You're still going to get something sent to your house that you just don't want. I mean, I don't want a paper Time magazine.
Wall Street Journal does that
Just
too.
don't want it.
You can't not get the paper.
You can't not. It's like, I guess the best you could do is say send it to some other address, but it's still killing the trees. They're going to have to figure that out.
You can get it, but it's more expensive to get the Wall Street Journal online without the paper than it is to get it with the paper. So everybody just gets the paper.
It's silly.
I get the paper delivered here, and then at home I can still read it on the iPad.
The weird thing about the Hearst titles is subscriptions are $1.99 monthly, totally reasonable. However, if you buy an annual pass, it's $19.99.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Well, it's not really.
So you shouldn't buy an annual pass.
Well, with most magazines, if you buy a year, you get a lot of money off.
Right.
This is not a lot of money off. Well, it's like a couple bucks less, but not
$20
really.
though. I mean,
yeah, I guess so.
They don't have to
if
kill
you
any
like the
trees.
magazine.
Yeah.
No killing trees, no paying newsstand prices.
Right.
So that's good. Have you heard or seen? This is actually the app of the week in the App Store. Our Choice. This is the Al Gore app.
Who hasn't? In fact, I would have made it my app cap, but I didn't want the political fallout because I don't know why, but Al Gore is just hated by some people.
Well, I don't hate him.
I think this is kind of an interesting way to put. This is a book, basically.
Yeah.
But it's really more like a National
chapters
Geographic magazine. I mean, it's beautiful pictures.
This, I guess, yeah. If the subject of global warming and climate change and pollution does not appeal to you, this is probably not the app for you. But it doesn't mean it's not a nice app, because it really is, actually. This is a variety of chapters.
Right.
In fact, can you figure out where this is? Gosh, this is such a cool picture. It's kind of scary. I couldn't figure out where it was.
Is it in the U.S.?
I don't know.
Looks like China to me.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it looks like some sort of factory town.
I bet you
sprung up.
Shenzhen, China.
So this is the introduction. You can flip through chapters this way, but you can also just go through the pages.
Boy, I'd love to see more books done like this.
Yeah,
it's just gorgeous.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason you were trying to find your place again, you can go back to this page here and scroll through. I won't focus too much on content because, again, some people are into this kind of content and some people aren't.
Too wussy. I mean, I think this is great stuff.
Well, it's also done really well.
Does it say where that is?
Well, this is Bakersfield.
Oh.
It's a feed lot. It's that one when you drive by on the 5 and it stinks to high heaven.
That's all that methane causing the greenhouse effect.
Well, and the crap that they're sending those cows. Yeah, and so this is really cool. You asked where it was.
Oh, neat.
There's a little globe. So anytime you see a globe, you get an idea globally of where we're talking about, which is really helpful. Obviously, Bakersfield isn't too far from us. Right. There are a lot of people who are like, where's that in California? I don't know. They got video that plays really nicely. Looks like a mosque in some part of the world.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's
actually looks better than the HBO video.
No, it's this stuff is really up my alley.
It must be a big download.
No, because they download chapter by chapter. So you can actually get started. It kind of almost works like the Daily does, where it'll let you start consuming content as it's downloading in the background. I really like it a lot. If this is the kind of thing that you're interested in, if for nothing else, for these really amazing pictures. So it's very visual. There's a lot of information, but there's a lot of interesting visuals as well, and
it's
graphs
getting a lot of
and
attention
maps.
now. Let's not forget Al Gore is on the board of directors of Apple Computing Incorporated. I'm sorry, it's no longer Apple Computer, of Apple Inc.
Angsley, Wales.
So I guess they'd
looks
have
like a
to
nice
pick
place, doesn't it?
Oh, I'd love to live in Wales.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, I love Wales.
Will and Kate may invite us over for dinner. They plan to live a quiet life, so I hear.
In Wales?
Yeah.
Wow. Let's go.
I think we should. Wouldn't that be nice?
Deal.
Okay, good.
Hey, Wills.
So that's
buddy,
Al Gore's Our
Leo.
Choice app. If you want to use your choice options, if you want to make a choice to consume the app called Our Choice, then go ahead.
We got a good, nice job.
Did you enjoy that?
You're so articulate.
I know.
Yeah, well articulated.
Thank you.
We have a voicemail.
Yes, we do.
From some flounder.
Yeah, this is an Ask Leo question. Greg from Taylor has some developer aspirations.
I better listen.
Hi, Leo and Sarah. Great message, Sarah, by the way.
You didn't change it
Greg
yet.
from Taylor.
Very what? Crun Taylor?
He's Greg from Taylor.
Oh, I thought he said the message was very Greg Taylor.
No.
That would be a little odd.
Just play it.
All right.
I'm interested in developing for the iPad, and I've heard that you must have a Mac to do so. So my question is, if I have to have a Mac, will a stock Mac Mini be sufficient?
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And have a great show.
Remember, you're not
Thanks,
developing for hardware that is that fast.
Yeah.
It's a gigahertz. There's limited RAM. And here's the beauty of it. Everything you need to develop for the iPhone or any iOS device or iPad is in the App Store now because for $5. It's called Xcode.
Perfect.
And it includes the SDK and everything. If you do want to eventually release it to the wild, as it were, you do need to buy a developer's license, $99 a year. That's not so expensive. I actually bought, Xcode used to be free. In fact, it comes on the disk anyway. But I just like the idea, the operating system disk.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like the idea of the fact that you can update it automatically from the App Store. $4.99. It's a 4 gigabyte download. That's the only negative. And all the tools you need are here to develop for the iPhone.
You were talking last year about maybe wanting to get your hands dirty in the iOS world.
I paid for the license. And then I thought, well, maybe I should do Android, and then I didn't do either. So
yeah,
that's me.
Well, there's
In a
a lot to
nutshell.
choose from. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
And Greg from Taylor could be our next developer. Yeah, go to town.
I encourage
Greg.
you to do it. That's one of the nice things about Apple's. They have the tools come with the Mac, and it's, they get you going. There's a lot of online resources.
We
Easy
haven't
to do.
talked about an iPad in the wild lately, mostly because it was cool at first. Like, hey, look, there's a celebrity holding an iPad on the movie set.
Now everybody has one.
And now everybody has
That's
one.
the big deal.
It's not that exciting anymore unless
You're
Spike Lee taking
I
a
am
photo.
Spike Lee.
Well, unless you're not. I'm sorry. I'm spoiling it for you. But if you were Spike Lee and you were taking a photo of President
POTUS.
Obama.
The President of the United States. This is such a great picture.
It's a great picture for.
First of all, who is that? Is that Richard Branson?
It's not
Branson.
No, it just looks like him. This was at the National Action Network's Keeper of the Dream Awards Gala in New York on April 6th.
I like it that even Spike Lee, the great director, the auteur, the cinematographer, still kind of bites his tongue when he's taking a picture.
Well, it's funny too. It's like he's concentrating. First of all, Spike Lee. I mean, he's a pretty big deal himself.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like this. Oh my gosh.
Well, he is the president.
And he is the president. And it's the thing about that I can't help but think about is Spike Lee has probably got access to all sorts of cameras. I mean, the iPad camera is
Not a good camera.
but not a good camera.
But it is the camera he had with him. And I
But
guess
why was he holding the iPad? It's like, why not just an iPhone?
Well, also,
So
I would
it's
suggest
awkward.
turning the iPad a little bit. Fortunately, he was holding it properly because the camera lens is right there. And as you
Right.
can see, he is holding it to keep his hand off it. The real problem I find with the iPad is when you turn it to take a picture, you very often put your finger right over the lens, which is right there.
Although you would see that on
Well, you see it, but it's just such a natural way to hold it.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating.
I just wonder. It's like, so I guess he just.
That's what he
maybe,
had.
Maybe he wanted a signature afterwards or something. Because a lot of people
yeah.
do that with
Take a picture, then
with
get him to sign
President
it.
Obama now.
Yeah. That's a good idea, actually.
I agree.
Hey, we're going to take a break. We are going to come back in just a bit with our app caps, capsies, and more questions, more voicemails, more fun.
But that's
More
what
hushes.
the show is about.
Fun.
And there's you learn a little something. There's some schooling happening, but for the most part, it's just a good time.
Are you stalling for my benefit?
I am.
Thank you. You're so nice.
Well, I'm not very articulate today, so you're welcome, sort of.
So finally, they did it. The Slingbox people, I was using their account to show off the Slingbox mobile.
Right.
They changed the password.
They've locked you out?
They finally did it.
Oh,
I knew they
bummer.
would. It was just a matter of time. I changed the channel on them once too often. Slingbox, though, I got to tell you, is so cool. So you get the Slingbox at home, right? We talked about HBO GO. It's kind of the other side of it. I have to say the video is actually better than HBO GO. But you probably have, a cable system or a satellite system with a lot of channels on it, not just HBO. You may have a DVR that's recorded your favorite shows, DVD player, your whole television system. Slingbox makes it available to you on the internet anywhere you go. Password protected, so only you can see it. And it's so cool. You get the Slingbox at home. You can get it at Amazon or Best Buy. Just go to slingbox.com to find a location near you. You plug it into all your TV stuff, and then the other side of it goes to the internet. That's it. You're done. That's all the setup you have to do. Now, on your iPad, your iPhone, your iPod Touch with Wi-Fi, your Mac or your Windows PC, there's a huge variety, Android now, of devices. You can actually watch anything that's on your home system anywhere you go as long as you can get online. I think the iPad version is kind of the king of the hill on all this. But I want you to check it out. So go to slingbox.com and find out more about the Slingbox, or just go to your favorite Best Buy, or go online at Amazon.com and pick one up. The Slingbox is amazing. It is the coolest gadget ever. It is a must-have. And I guess I'm just going to have to set my own password up for the iPad. I figured.
Way to go. Way to upset
I just figured
them.
I'd use their system because, they like to watch things like,
Real Housewives of New York.
Yeah. And me, it'd just be a bunch of chess matches, and that's not as interesting.
Is there chess TV
Oh,
that
it's
I don't
gripping.
know about? Come on.
It's gripping.
Yeah.
You got to be careful because sometimes the action
Gripping
happens so
horror.
fast.
Right. Yeah. I guess you could watch two computers playing chess, and that would be kind of like a tennis match, back and forth, ping pong game. I just like going down to Market Street and watching the guys play the chess.
Yeah,
They're really
those guys
good.
are actually very good.
They're very good.
They've whooped my
and they
butt.
kind of like you to watch them too,
yeah, they're
because they're
showmen.
showing off. Yeah, there's a little strutting.
Ooh,
So
let's see. More questions.
Yes, we have a voicemail, Bill from Canada. And by the way, we have to stop the audio at about 40 seconds in because he gives us his
Phone
number, and I don't want to give that out.
Let's give that out to everybody.
No, this is Bill from Canada, and he has a little question about security.
Go right ahead, Bill.
Hi, my name is Bill. I'm calling from Canada, and I have an iPad 1. My question or how to figure out is when you take the screen, when the computer, you push the wake button on the side, it shows a lovely background with my slide to unlock, but beside it, there is a little icon of a flower. So I have people coming up, touch my iPad. They don't know how to unlock it, but yet they can push that button and scroll through my entire photo album. I'd like to know how to get rid
How dare
of
they?
that
How dare they?
little icon. So because I have personal items on there, and I don't need anybody just being able to see that.
There's my little girl.
Abby!
Yeah. And I like these are the slideshow. This is the origami thing that is the slideshow style, and I just really like it.
I love Bill's question because honestly, I mean, I know that icon's there. I don't really use it, but it's true that you could have somebody waltz over. Let's say you.
Well, if you
got
don't
up
want it, you could turn it off.
But how? How do you do? It's the picture frame, I would think.
Yes.
So what you do would well, I don't know.
I'm
If you
looking
go
for
into
it.
the picture frame
Picture
options,
Transition, show each photo, shuffle all photos.
general.
I guess what you should do is
What would you do?
He's got it set to all photos probably, or you could pick an empty album and just put it there. Or like, for instance, I'm going to use the iPad Super Pack, which doesn't have any personal stuff. Now if I turn off the iPad and turn it back on, instead of getting pictures of Abby, you'll just get Trey Ratcliffe's great pictures of their backdrops.
What if
So pick
not
an
one picture you wanted someone to see?
Well, you make an album. You could just put a black. Here's this is a workaround. But that's a very good question actually. Put a black picture in an album, sync it to your iPad, and make that album be the one album that gets played back by the picture frame. I guess.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think
wait a minute.
that's sufficient.
Here, I found it. Thanks
I
to the
don't
chat
think
room.
so.
Thanks to the chat room. Let's go to our passcode settings.
Passcode in general.
Yeah. Passcode lock. Turn that on.
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Because, look, if you turn the passcode on,
Yeah.
then if you set up a passcode...
Is that going to work?
Well, because, look, underneath...
Okay, let's try it
You've
now.
got
I
your
set up the
option
passcode.
to turn on picture
Let's
frame.
do. Okay. Now I got a passcode, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's not going to
yeah.
work. Okay, so let's turn it off again and see. But no, see, then I still get a picture frame.
But if you go into your settings...
Oh, in the passcode, you turn off the picture frame?
Right. But I don't see it's grayed out. So do I have to... So if I was going like 1, 2, 3, 4... I know that's terrible
Maybe
passcode.
because you didn't have a passcode lock.
Oh, look. So now if I turn picture
Got
frame
it.
off, now let's lock it. Now let's open it.
That's it. Okay.
No option. That's what you do.
So
You've got,
turn on a passcode, which you should have anyway, because
Right.
you've got so much private stuff in here. And then once you turn on the passcode, you can turn off.
so there's really no way to take away that picture frame without a passcode, but if you didn't have a passcode, that they could just swipe.
They could look at it. So that makes sense.
Okay.
And by the way, I always turn on this erase data so that if somebody tries to enter your passcode 10 times, it actually erases the data on your system.
What if you were trying to?
Well,
10. Well, I guess 10 is excessive.
10's a lot. If
10's
you
a
forget
lot.
your passcode, you can't get it anyway. So
Right.
you're going to have to resync it. Presumably, you've been syncing it to your desktop, so you've got everything there anyway. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly, I had never thought about it, Bill.
Thanks
so
to the chat room.
Thanks for helping us help you.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun to work it out live.
Thanks
Tom
to the chat
Costello, he sent us a video, and he actually mentioned that he came to the cottage from MacBike Weekly for episode 195.
Oh, I
and he had a
remember
really
Tom.
good time.
What a nice guy.
And he sent us a video
Well, God.
that I queued up for you and everything.
God. Oh, you queued it up?
Yeah,
The right
just
spot?
it's just the YouTube vid.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Many of us have, in addition to the iPad, an iPhone. And I know that there are several apps that work on both. In other words, you use the iPhone, an app on the iPhone, as a companion to an app on the iPad. For example, the Scrabble app allows you to use the iPad as the board and the iPhone
Isn't that
and
cool?
iPod
So
Touch
cool.
as the tile rack. There's also a
This guy's
dartboard
good.
app
I know.
for the iPad,
So I'm
and
just
you use
trying
the
to get a
phone
job here.
This I love.
Isn't that cool?
Pad Racer makes the pad.
We've talked about
track
Pad
and
Racer
control the car
in the
with phone.
past.
Yep.
And
It's really
finally,
hard.
there's Chopper 2,
Yep,
which was
I love
actually
this.
an app cap for Leo
Yep.
in iPad today number 6, where you control the helicopter with the iPad. So my question is this: are you guys aware of any other apps like that, or are there any that you'd like to see? For example, I would love to control a keynote presentation on the iPad using a remote app on the iPhone.
You can.
We're not there yet. You could do it on the Mac.
Oh,
but
that's
I would
right.
love to just give a presentation on the
That's
iPad
right.
and step away from the iPad and use the iPhone as the remote. Anyway, that's my question, and thanks for listening, and best of luck in the new studios. It's going to look fantastic.
Aw, thanks,
I love his
Tom.
desktop.
He's
He's
Isn't
so
that great?
cool, isn't
Yeah.
he? Tom, you should be one of our video editors. You've made a really good video. I think wisdom of the crowd on this one, because I don't actually have too many of these up my sleeve that I can think of.
He's right. You know,
but I
somebody
bet there's
asked
some we don't know about.
on the radio show was asking for a way to control a keynote presentation on the iPad with a remote control.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, wait a minute. What about the keynote remote app on the iPhone? And he's right. It doesn't, weirdly enough, it should work on the iPad. It doesn't. It only works on a desktop. So
Why? How strange.
it's an odd.
It's an iOS to
gaffe.
iOS issue.
Yeah, it's an
I
odd
guess.
gaffe.
Yeah, if any of you have good ideas, like, oh, there's this great game, it works so well, send them to us, and we'll talk about them next week.
I think any driving game should have a steering wheel that can be the iPhone. Because one of the things I don't like about driving games is when you steer with the iPad, you're moving the picture too. And that kind of makes me a little queasy. Be great. You know, of course, one way you could do this is with the HDMI cable, plug it into a big screen TV. Then you're steering with this on the big screen TV. It's in front of you.
But if
I've
you
done
don't
that. It's
have
so cool.
that, I mean, when I have my iPad with me, I almost always also have my
Right.
iPhone with me.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
the two of them in combination are a killer team.
We've shown you a couple of apps that let you take pictures on the iPhone and automatically transfer them over to the iPad.
Yes.
Even with the new iPad camera, it's still a good thing because the camera's so much better on the iPhone.
The Bump app, I know I always talk about the Bump app,
Bump
but
is
that's
great.
because the iPhone 4, anybody who has an iPhone 4 knows that, especially if you've got Camera Plus or Instagram, I mean, you can put together some really beautiful pictures. Just bump it over to the iPad so that it's as if you took the beautiful pictures on your iPad. They look great on the bigger screen. Anyway, we do love to hear from you. We always love your feedback. We love you guys. You're awesome. Even when you hang up on me in our Google Voice section, you can write us at iPad Today at twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 757-504-IPAD. Keep in mind that I can't really play anything that's over a minute or so. I mean, there was some really good stuff we got this week, but it was just a little long for our purposes because we only have so much time. Just keep that in mind, or send us a video like Tom did and put in some transitions and wow us. Question, a comment, whatever, just upload a video, send us a link, and we'll play it.
Coming up, our app caps. Get your cap ready, Sarah Lane. While Sarah's getting her cap on, our App Cap Awards are, of course, our top 2 programs of the week. I would love to tell you a little bit about how to get rid of your iPad 1. If you're looking to get an iPad 2, there's a very simple thing everybody should know about. It's called Gazelle. Gazelle is a great site for selling your old goods. I'm going to type it in here right now, GAZELLE.com. It's easy to remember because we'd say a little poem. Don't just sell it, Gazelle it. What happens when you go to Gazelle is you type in your device. There are a broad variety of devices. There's tens of thousands of gadgets in a whole bunch of different categories. Gaming, GPSs, calculators, cameras, e-readers, satellite radios. I have a few of those I'd like to get rid of. And, of course, iPads and iPhones and all of that stuff. You type it in. Let's see how much an iPad 1 is worth, just out of curiosity these days. iPad, let's see. I have an old 16 gig. Oh, no, I mean 64 gig, but it's Wi-Fi. So you enter it in there, and then they ask you a few questions. Any problems? No. Normal wear and tear? No. You know what? This one's been kept pretty well in a case. I do have the power adapter. I have the original cables, and there is no personalization on it. That would, of course, affect the price. Let's continue on. Notice, 200. Whoa!
$275.
That's fantastic. Notice they had a little graph beforehand that showed how the price has changed
Imagine
over time.
how many margaritas we could go to town with.
I think this is for Cinco de
$275.
Mayo. I'm selling my iPad. But think how close that's going to get you to a new iPad. And that's one of the great things about it. Now, notice the button here. It says Add to Box. So just throw these all in a box. They will send you the mailing label. So they pay the shipping, and it goes back to Gazelle. They verify, all your statements about condition and so forth. And then they'll send you the money. And by the way, if they say, hey, it's really better shape than you said it was, they'll send you more money. Who does that? That's crazy.
Gazelle does. That's
crazy talk. They'll actually send you more money than they promised you. Now, here's a way you can get even more money, a 5% bonus payment for your used gadgets when you go to Gazelle.com. You just have to enter in at the checkout, enter in the bonus code, TWIT. This is not iPad today, it's TWIT. So enter in the bonus code TWIT. Now, that's cute.
Well, there's an issue, is that I did the flower, and then I realized, wait a second, no hat will fit.
Are incompatible.
So I'm very delicately balancing my Ranger hat.
I have a hat you could use. But let me finish up here. Gazelle.com.
Please do.
Use the offer code TWIT for 5% additional payment over and above what they've already promised you. I just love Gazelle. By the way, if they can't, if it's not worth anything, you can still send it to Gazelle for appropriate electronics recycling. And I mean really appropriate. They don't ship it overseas. It doesn't end up in the landfill. They do it right. I just love Gazelle. Another good way to raise money for your charity, by the way. Don't have a bake sale. Have a gadget drive.
Leo, I will say I've never had so much positive response.
Isn't it great?
People love Gazelle.
They really
I'm not
do.
even kidding. They write us regularly saying, I had no idea I would get this much money back.
Yeah.
It was too good to be true, but that's really what I got.
It's a neat company. They're all of our, one of the things we really try to do is choose ads, companies to advertise on our shows that we like, we would use, and we're proud to be
and we
representing.
believe in.
Yeah. And any company's going to have problems from time to time, and I always make sure if somebody complains, if you have a problem with any of our advertisers, I always make sure that we get that right to the top level support at that company. And I don't know of anybody who hasn't finally been, it hasn't been taken care of by all of our companies. They're all great. I get tweets all the time. Leo, love Gazelle. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So let us get our app caps on. You have one already.
My cap is teetering, Leo, and I did it to myself. But that's okay because I like to go with the flow.
Let's trade.
That's not going to work with a flower, Leo.
No, this doesn't go far enough down to be a problem.
Yeah.
See, look.
You want to bet?
Watch how I wear
How much
it.
you want? I'll bet you $1 million. Do you have $1 million? I would love $1 million.
I could have a flower right
but
there.
But your head is so big. That's why it fits that way.
You know what?
You don't realize
this is a Russian army cap.
What? That's the awesomest.
Isn't
this
it?
New?
I got this in St. Petersburg a few years ago.
So it's not new.
And it's not new. It was very cheap. And what they did is, this is this old Soviet army. See the hammer and sickle and the red stars? They put all the badges of the Soviet army on here, kind of as souvenirs. And it was like,
What is it? The souvenir shop from the good old days.
It was like a few bucks. It's kind of amazing.
I like it.
Isn't this cool?
Very.
There's Lenin.
Lenin.
Oh, good old.
What about
good old
Stalin?
comrade.
We got Stalin
No,
on there
I
anywhere?
don't think there were any Stalin buttons on there.
Oh, that's too bad.
But this is kind of fun. I just as a souvenir.
You know, when I went to Moscow, I wanted to visit Lenin's tomb, but they wouldn't let me.
You personally, or just in general, they wouldn't let anybody?
Nobody.
They said you can't go to Lenin's
Yeah, at the
tomb?
Red Square, not allowed.
It was closed?
I don't think they.
I went to see Chairman Mao.
Me
it looked
too.
like a waxwork.
It was weird, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, and the way that you get shuffled through,
Yeah.
it's like, I can't believe I just saw him. He
I know.
looks like he's.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, he didn't.
That whole idea of the communist idea of keeping these guys, embalmed on their square.
The embalming is. I mean, I admit it. I went to look. I saw him.
But
no,
can I ask you a favor?
Yes.
When I die,
Yes.
would you embalm me and put me in the brick house, kind of so people could come and see me?
Well, I was thinking more of like a Han Solo type thing on the wall. That
Or
would be
just
awesome.
sitting
In
right behind
copper, that would be cool.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, and everyone could kind of go up and take
They
pictures.
could fondle
and-
me.
Yeah, they could fondle you.
I'll be shiny. My nose will be shiny because people will rub it for good luck.
Totally. Oh, let's do that. I mean, I hope you don't die, but if you do, that's what we'll do.
I like how she just throws at it. Oh, and by the way, I hope you don't die. But
I don't want you to die.
well,
what
I'm
would I
gonna
do?
die.
I can't do
have
the show
bad
without
news.
you.
Everybody dies.
Everybody
At least
dies.
In the words of Jim Morrison,
Sometimes.
no one gets out alive.
My app cap is called Planetary.
Sure it is. What is it?
A few people actually recommended this, but I do want to give thanks to Jason Hinch. He lives in Annapolis, Maryland, and he told me about it first because I looked at all the emails. Planetary is awesome. So here's the deal. Let's say you've got a lot of music and or media.
This is so weird. You showed me this yesterday.
Yeah, it's so weird. So I'm kind of a weird example of this because I don't have that much music on this iPad because it's kind of my work iPad,
Right.
but I do have some. So I'm looking at a representation of my music. Whoops,
Yeah.
let me get that. There you go. Representation of my music. Here's the alphabet
Yeah.
as a solar system. So let's click on L. And now I see that there's a song called La Vida Bohème. And if I
Oh.
click on that,
La
this is
Vida
actually a
Bohème?
song that's in my iTunes library.
That's from the Broadway musical Rent.
And is it?
Oh,
I didn't know
love
what it
Oh,
was.
it's such a great
and
song.
there's another single that I have downloaded called
So is
Radio
that-
Capital.
Is
So
that related to it, or?
no, it's just the think of it if you had alphabetically, you had many songs
Right.
per letter.
Right.
So this is actually
So it's alphabetic.
well, yeah, it's alphabetical, and I can then play the song. And I don't want to play it because this is like
So
copyright stuff
they'll
that we
rotate
can't.
into around the sun like that.
Yeah, and then if you can,
Whoa!
I know. So some of them, this is very weird. Now I might be missing something, but for the most part, this is basically just your music library or your media library because this also applies to like podcasts. So our iPad Today
Oh.
podcast will be
Oh, I
in here
gotta try
too.
this.
It's kind of like for space nerds, for anybody who likes to look at planets and the orbit and how things relate to each other. It's like a really weird way to look at your music.
Right.
And that's what it is. And there's kind of a key here. At first I downloaded it, I was like, I could not be more confused about this. It's really, there's not much to it, actually. You've got a bunch of songs. You can look at them in a solar system. You can play all of your media. You can skip around. And that's what you do. And you can zoom in to other lives, for example.
Other
or
lives?
Yeah, it's some song. It was
Oh.
in the free iTunes section. I had to download some music so that I could show you guys.
You
but
know-
imagine if you had hundreds and hundreds of songs. What?
You
What are
didn't have
laughing?
any music on there.
This is my work iPad.
You have a Play iPad?
Actually, this is my only iPad. But I mean, I don't have my
I'll let you put
personal
music on it. That's
li-
okay.
well,
Put some
I
music
didn't want
on
to
it.
buy music because it's your credit
Oh,
card.
I get it.
I'm thinking about you.
Wait a minute.
I'm holding the.
You haven't been buying Mojo, have you?
No, I don't play Wii Rule. You know me better than that. You know what? I'm just gonna screw the flower. You're going down. I gotta wear my hat as it was intended to. So this is Planetary. I don't know. I like it.
It's very cool. I'm going to try it because
Music-
I, unlike you, have a lot of music on my iPad.
Well,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
nice? No, it's cool though. You
Oh,
can
look at
see.
that. That's
yeah, it just went by.
pretty.
It'll go around
That's
again.
pretty.
It'll go around again because we're going around.
Is it usable? I mean, is it useful? I mean, or is it just cool? Look.
Honestly, it's a visualizer that you can manipulate. Honestly, that's what I see it as. And it actually does apply to your real music collection. Yeah, so some music will be clustered around other music. For example, if I had an entire album, the album would be the planet, and the music,
Right.
the individual songs
Oh,
would
I
be
like that.
moons that went around the
Oh, I
planet
like
kind of
that.
thing.
Yeah.
So there's it's not just like, oh, it's some dumb visualizer that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's neat.
It has some value.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it's free. I mean, it's not like
It's totally free.
you'd use this instead of the iPod app. You just use it. That's clear. Cool.
And again, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense to play a video and be not looking at the video and looking at this.
So this
but
is just
it does
for
apply to so it's pulling from. Well, I guess it's pulling from iTunes and anything that's in your video.
Well, look, I just installed it on mine. Let me just try.
All right, see what it looks like.
Because I have
a
lot of stuff on mine.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I've almost filled it up with music.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
See?
Look at you.
I've got a telephone dial on mine.
Oh, you.
So let's get.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
So here's. Oh, this is really. And then if I wanted to play it.
You just you click on your.
And then so I'm playing that, and then it would play, and that would go. And then does it recommend other stuff? But it's not recommendation. It's
not a recommendation. It's just based on your library.
That's just strange.
It is strange.
And I'm getting dizzy.
Well, that's because you're going too fast.
I am.
Think about what you're doing.
Always. Of course, Tom Merritt doesn't think I go too fast.
No, Tom Merritt says.
So there's
I've
Tom.
got a knife.
You know, I wish this is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I wish this would say, kind of do the music genome thing and say, if you like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
But this is not that. This is your library in a visual planetary sense.
Look, this is as it's playing.
Isn't that great? Yeah, it shows you how much time has elapsed as you do your circle around the sun or whatever it is that you're doing. So you get the idea. This is from a company called Bloom. It's bloom.io. They're based in San Francisco. I love it.
And probably
it's a sort of app that's just fun.
Probably you make your money. They make their money by if you buy stuff on iTunes through it, they make a little bit of money.
Probably.
Oh, you could turn off paths.
I like paths. Why would you turn that off?
Oh, you've
got some options. Yeah. See, it takes a little getting used to, but it's cool. It's free, man. What are you going to do?
This is the.
I'm going to download it. That's for sure.
The Tom Petty planet.
A woman in love.
I live on the Tom Petty planet.
What's your app cap, Leo?
Well, I was really pleased when I found out just a moment ago, right before our show, that TripIt had finally released an iPad app. We've talked about TripIt before. It's a website, TripIt.com, where you email your travel plans to TripIt, and it automatically builds an itinerary for you. So, which is really great, including all the details about your hotel, your travel, the booking site. It's really, it syncs up, so I don't have to do any of this by hand. In fact, I even have it just monitor my email account because it's a Gmail account. And anytime I get a new confirmation on any trip, it just adds it to it automatically. You can even look at the map and see where you're going visually on a Google map. I think this is a very wonderful site. Anybody who does a lot of travel should know about TripIt, TripIt.com, and they finally have put out an iPad app. Now, I have to say, this is free, and of course, if you're already a TripIt user, you're going to be, you probably should have it. But there are TripIt-compatible applications available out there, like Travel Tracker Pro, which I've recommended before, that also download data from TripIt, but maybe give you a little bit more
Isn't there also a TripIt paid? It gives you a little bit something extra.
And I'm a member of the TripIt paid.
Because I just have the free app.
Yeah. The free app is what you get, but TripIt Pro does a few more things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you sync. I think it syncs automatically.
Oh,
anyway,
really?
Yeah. So I've been very happy with TripIt. I recommend TripIt. There are TripIt apps because they publish an API like Travel Tracker Pro that I recommend and have actually been an app kept before. But this just came out today, and I think it's great that it's finally out. And you can see all your trips and so forth and get help and so forth. And there
I see. The pay for the $4 app is ad-free. So no third-party banner.
I must have paid
banner
for it
ads.
because I don't see any ads. So
yeah. I have the free version, so I actually didn't know any better. But that is the difference between the two. Ads or no ads, choice is yours. It's great. Anybody who travels a lot, this is like a no-brainer.
Yep.
Because traveling is a pain in the rear. Let's be honest.
She says rear, I say butt, but we agree.
Yes.
Hey, that's it for iPad Today for this day. Sarah Lane, put your flower back in your hair.
It's there. It's just smushed. See?
Oh.
It worked out well. It's not a real flower, so it actually bounces back really well.
That's okay. I'm not a real Mountie.
They say that fake flowers are kind of tacky.
They say the same thing about fake Mounties.
I don't know what a Mountie is.
That's the hat you were wearing.
Oh.
You don't know what a
Ranger
Mountie is?
hat.
It's like that.
It's
Mounties,
a Smokey the Bear hat.
the Royal Canadian
Only you
Mounted
can prevent
Police.
forest fires.
Well, it could be that too.
Yeah.
I don't know what this hat is.
I don't know why you're still playing Tom Petty.
Oh, because it just wouldn't. Because Planetary is still going. How do I stop it?
You should mute it. Your mute button. Jeez Louise. Oh, no, you changed that to an orientation lock button. So now you don't have an easy way to mute.
Oh, no.
Ha! Vindicated.
Hey, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Thanks
you,
to our
everybody.
sponsors. We do this show when we can every
Actually, every Thursday.
Thursday, sometime in the afternoon. Usually, the ideal would be 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 Eastern at
But
live.
you never know what you're going to get on Thursday.
Tune in because the truth is, it's fun. Starting about 1 o'clock, the fun begins.
The fun. We eat burritos.
We eat burritos.
And
we
then
celebrate. We get drunk.
goes downhill.
Yeah.
Especially
I hit on Sarah.
on
It's
Cinco
great.
de Margarita Day.
Yeah, it's kind of a treat.
Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
On iPad today.